Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss the legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedoms and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, the President and General Counsel of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country in the courtrooms of America. Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedoms.
We celebrate Constitution Week this week, but what can you do to help preserve and protect our Constitution? I'm Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel. Joining me is Matt Barber, vice president of Liberty Counsel Action. This week, Matt, we've been talking about Constitution Week. We celebrate this week Constitution Week, where our founders came together after much prayer and put together the Constitution that now has ultimately been the longest surviving constitution in the world. Constitutional government as a republic. The United States of America is the longest surviving government that has not gone through multiple revolutions. We take that for granted. Every other country in the world has gone through multiple revolutions except for the United States. We had one in the 1700s, and we've got the longest surviving country in the world. That is not just by happenstance. There are certain fundamental principles that make us different. We call them American exceptionalism. Some people want to run from those ideas, but those fundamental ideas and values ultimately form who we are. The Constitution founded on the principle that the people would be moral and they would understand and respect morality through the teaching of Judeo-Christian principles. Then the framework of the Constitution itself gives a limited government a lot of liberty to our people. But the question that we have today is, with all of that under attack, with the twin pillars, as we've talked about, George Washington spoke of that, John Adams spoke about these twin pillars of religion and morality, that they're essential, they're under attack. Our Constitution's under attack by judicial activists. What can people do in this country now to be able to help preserve and protect those foundational principles and the constitutional framework?
Sure. Well, Washington and Adams' belief that religion and morality were the twin pillars of any successful constitutional form of government has been flipped on its head. And people often maybe hear the phrase today, well, religion and politics don't mix. Absolutely not. That is exactly the opposite of the case. This notion somehow that religious and moral principles and political public policy-related issues are mutually exclusive, they are one in the same. You hear the term, you cannot legislate morality. Well, of course you legislate morality. That's exactly what you do. Question is, whose morality is going to be legislated? What can people do? Well, there is a growing groundswell, a grassroots groundswell here, I believe, that we're going to see it play out in this 2012 election of pastors across the country finally understanding that these threats of losing their 501c3 tax-exempt status. How many churches have lost their tax-exempt status, Matt, for getting
Zero.
Zero. This is a paper tiger. This is a paper tiger. So congregants, people, the body of Christ, Christians, pastors across the country are a formidable, growing army of Christian soldiers that are going to take this country back. I believe we're going to see people of faith, Christians across the country, getting involved in the public policy, elective politics process at levels unprecedented in United States history. That's one thing you can do, folks, is get involved.
We have a number of resources for people. What I would encourage individuals to do is to develop little groups in their own churches so that they can keep each other and also the pastor involved as to what's going on in their community, in their state, and in the nation. And Liberty Counsel, we also have Liberty Counsel Action that they can be a part of. We also have the Freedom Federation Network that they can form their own groups in their area. All of that is available by going to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org. And we also have WIN, Women Impacting the Nation, which is now a new project of Liberty Counsel that WIN has merged with Liberty Counsel. And that is women getting together to learn about our fundamental constitutional principles and to be able to take action. But I think get involved, get information, form some groups, get more information by calling Liberty Counsel on our toll-free number, 800-671-1776. And then we also have information on what pastors and churches can do. We have DVDs, we have handouts, and it gives you information about what pastors and churches can do with regards to lobbying, taking positions for or against legislation, or judicial appointments, nominees to the U.S. Supreme Court, what the rules are, and then also political campaigning, being able to register to vote, that's permissible, be able to have people in your congregation acknowledged that are coming to visit, even though they're running for office, be able to speak on biblical values, and be able to pass out voter guides. All of these things are very permissible. So a lot of this information is available at Liberty Counsel on our website at lc.org.
There are myriad vehicles available to get involved. First, you just have to have the initiative. Take that first step. And I know that a lot of people listening right now are seeing what's happening to our nation and seeing our foundations crumble. And they're saying, not on my watch, and not with my children and grandchildren having to suffer the brunt of this trajectory we're on as a nation heading toward cliff's edge. We provide multiple vehicles for people to get involved, pastors, people of faith, people who just value our constitutional form of government and want to see us returned to respecting the United States Constitution. lc.org is the website. We encourage everyone listening right now to get in contact with us. Let us know where your passions lie specifically, and we will help you find a way to get involved.
Yeah, you can go to lc.org. I would encourage you to obviously get involved and get some information. As I said, we've got you could become part of a WIN chapter if you're a woman and you want to get involved and just learn. Some of the books that we have as our individual women meet together is David Barton's book on our Constitution, my book, Take Back America. You can, if you want to get involved and learn more about WIN, Women Impacting the Nation, which is an exciting program and a very good outreach that we have, you can call Liberty Counsel at 800-671-1776, and we'll get you in touch with Sue Trombrino, who is with Liberty Counsel and is getting these WIN groups all over the country, or other groups, Liberty Counsel Action. You can form a Liberty Counsel Action community issues group right there in your church. And we can also give you information about what pastors and churches can do. The bottom line is you need to get educated about what the issues are. We have emails that can do that. We have the Liberty Alert that can give you educational emails. We have the Grassfire Liberty Action email, and that's available on our lc.org email. We have over 400,000 activists, and so we can give you information about issues. Then you can participate in a fax or a petition or other kinds of information where your voice is made known, and get on that by going to lc.org.
Yeah, join the revolution. There is a revolution of ideas afoot. Matt, the L.A. Times recently had an article ringing the toxin, warning their fellow progressive secularists in a piece titled "Evangelical Pastors Heed a Political Calling for 2012." In sum, the crux of the article is that, hey, fellow progressives, you better get busy here, because we are seeing a groundswell of evangelical political activity at a level we haven't seen since Dr. Jerry Falwell's leadership in the moral majority back in the 70s and 80s. I think we're actually in a position now where this grassroots groundswell of evangelical and constitutionalist-minded Americans could dwarf what we saw with the moral majority. I hope so. I have faith and confidence.
I know when Dr. Falwell went home to be with the Lord, and Dr. D. James Kennedy and others, people began to say, well, some of those major leaders are gone. And I always said, well, God is actually going to deepen and broaden the movement. And I think that's what he is doing and will do. As we move forward this year, in 2011, there's some big elections on the ballot. There's the Personhood Amendment in Mississippi. You can be a part of that or get information to people in your community if there's an election coming up. There's also, obviously, 2012 coming up. And we want to make sure that you have information on how you can mobilize. Plug into Liberty Counsel. Go to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org. Call us at 1-800-671-1776. Plug into the resources that we have. Get educated. Spread out. Get some other people that are like-minded to you. And we can then help you to mobilize in your church, in your community. Make sure your pastor is constantly fed information about what is going on. And, in fact, it's the squeaky wheel oftentimes that gets oiled. So make sure your pastor gets information from you. And if your church just simply doesn't want to address these issues, then maybe you ought to continue to pray and encourage that church but find one that does so that you can make a difference and support a movement in our generation that makes a difference, not only just in the ballot box, but in your local community, in all the different areas where Christ has called us to transform the community. Give us a call at Liberty Counsel, 1-800-671-1776. You can ask for the book, Take Back America. That's one of our many books that we have as resources. You can also ask for the bumper sticker, Don't Tread on Me, Liberty or Death. That can be a good message as we move forward to make a difference, take a stand. Go to Liberty Counsel's website today, lc.org.
You have been listening to Matt Staver of Liberty Counsel. Our hope is to encourage and inspire you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedoms. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email update. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.